In this video, we'll go over manual execution mode, which allows us to use one script to execute the code in another script. And to show you this, let's just add a little feature to this fader that makes sure that when the project is loaded, this fader always starts in the center. And we can do that using an onload script. So to show you that, I'll first need to disable the reset script. And you can disable any reactive script in the project navigator just by unchecking it. And I'll move the fader to another position. Good. So let's create a new script, and I'll call it load. And I'll set the execution mode to onload. And I'm just going to copy the code in the reset script into the load script. And now when I click away, Lemur is going to be forced to reload, and the fader should be centered. Perfect. So I'll just re-enable the reset script. So what's kind of unfortunate about this is that the code in the load script and the code in the reset script are exactly the same. So if I wanted to change the value that the fader reset to, let's say to 1, I have to remember to change it in the reset script and then change it in the load script. And this is very buggy because what might happen is you'll change it in one place and forget to change it in another. And it might not be such a big deal for a small project like this, but as your project grows, it's going to become very hard to maintain. So it's much better if we can write the code in one place and then reuse it anywhere it's needed. And we can do that using a manual execution mode. So I'll change the execution mode of the reset script to manual. And now I'm going to have the load script execute the code in the reset script. And I can do that by typing the following line of code. Type the name of the script, reset, followed by an opening parentheses, then a closing parentheses, and a semicolon. So execute the script called reset, and that's it. So now let's just change the value that the fader resets to 0.5. And now when I click away, the load script is going to be called, which is then going to call the reset script, and the fader will be centered, just like that. But by changing the reset script to manual, we've kind of lost our snapback functionality, right? Because we don't have a script that's listening to changes to Z. So let's just add that back in. I'll create a new script, and I'll just call it release. And again, I'll set the execution mode to onExpression, listen for changes to Z, only execute when Z falls down to 0. And again, we'll just call the reset script. Reset, open paren, close paren, semicolon. Perfect. So now the load script and the release script both call the reset script. So if I want to change the value that it resets to, I only need to change it here in the reset script. Great. So we've avoided duplication. But there's actually another place in our project where we have duplication, but it's a little bit more hard to see. And it's here, and it's in our send script, where we multiply x by 127 to scale the fader's value from 0 to 1 to 0 to 127, because we're also doing it here in this fader's mini monitor. So we can create another manual script which performs this calculation and then returns to us back the result. So let's create another script. And I'm just going to call this script scaled x, because all it's going to do is scale the value of x. I'll copy this computation into scaled x, add a semicolon, and here all I have to do is to use the return keyword. And that tells Lemur to perform this computation and return back to us its result. And now I can open up the send script, and instead of using this computation directly, I'll just call scaled x. Perfect. So now scaled x will be called, it'll do this computation, return back the result, and now in the send script, it'll be substituted in right back here. And we can do the same thing in the mini monitor. Type scaled x. Done. And now we have no more duplication in our code.